Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Healing. I am here to do the twin flame reading for, yes, I have to look at my notes, July 17th through July 23rd. My kids are super tired, and so they're in a great mood, so there might be some cranky people in the background. There's not a whole lot that I've been tuning into that's going on this week energetically. The only thing that I really heard popping up, and I don't know very much about it because I tend to not pay too much attention to some of these things. There is supposed to be a portal opening up tomorrow, 7/17 portal. From what I'm understanding, it's having to do with the Lionsgate portal, the 8/8. I personally tend to not get super hyped up about those types of things because I find that these types of events, if there are shifts, they are shifts that are not super noticeable. And what I see is that sometimes people get very hyped up about this upcoming event, and then they get kind of bummed out when they don't come into a union with their twin or something amazing doesn't happen. So I tend to, I don't poo-poo it. There's always possibilities of many things happening, but I do try not to get too wrapped up into that. So I don't have very much to say on that about that portal that's supposed to be opening up tomorrow. I am running behind a little bit still with my readings, but I'm pretty sure I've been in touch with everybody that I need to be. I had to go out of town unexpectedly last week, and so that kind of set me back a little. But I should be, I'm thinking I should be caught up by the beginning of this week. And I'm thinking that I am going to offer $10 3-card readings this week. Because that seemed to be something people really enjoyed. So for this week only, there will be a link in this video, and there will be one on my Facebook page if that's something that you're interested. It's just one question, and if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Let's see. So yeah, I didn't really have a lot to say today. I'm a little tired from the traveling that I did this week. So if you're new to my page, I do refer to the masculine energy and the feminine energy, and I do refer to, he and she. This can absolutely apply to same-sex relationships. I just use he, she, masculine, feminine for the sake of the reading because it's just easier for me to keep track of while I'm talking about it. But everything I'm talking about applies to same-sex relationships as well as heterosexual relationships. And always, if something that I'm talking about doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Then it's just not the message for you. Don't worry about it. Not every reading is meant for every single person out here because this is a reading that's meant for a large audience. So not everything will sit right with everybody. If this reading does resonate with you, if it feels like I'm talking directly to you, then I'm the reader for you, and you should consider getting in touch with me so we can set up an individual reading for you. Oh, and I'm also, I mentioned in my video last week that I was going to be doing like a major sale with massively discounted prices for just a small number of people. I am still doing that. Going out of town this past week kind of set me back on everything. So that is still coming. I'm not sure if it'll be this week or next week or the week after. It's just going to kind of depend on travel schedules and what's kind of going on this week. So I haven't forgotten. It's coming. I'm not 100% sure when. So I'm going to get started with the reading. And I'm hoping to keep it kind of quick because last week's was longer than what I'm really trying to keep them on the shorter side for you, and last week's went pretty long. So I'm going to start with the feminine. I tend to. The card that comes up for the feminine first is flow, and I feel like this card is that this is exactly like, this is advice for the feminine. Like, this is what you need to be doing. I feel like there's a lot of feminine saying, okay, now what? What do I do now? And that this is the answer to that. Go with the flow. Try not to think about the future too far ahead. Just take one day at a time. And not just in regards to your situation with your twin. This is like overall in your whole life. Because a lot of you have other things going on in your life, and you have other things going on in your life that you're like on the cusp of doing something really awesome for you. So whatever that looks like, whether it's career related, whether it's family related, like you've got your relationship twin situation over here, but you've got like your own personal life that you need to pay attention to as well. And the clarifying card that I pulled up here is the Ten of Fire, and the Ten of Fire is all about it's about there's too much work, stress related health concerns, like you're bearing too much of a burden. And I feel like like I said, I feel like these cards are advice for you. Like, what do I do? Just go with the flow and just take one day at a time, because accept help from the people that you have in your life that can help you, because I feel like if you start to get in your head too much, if you start worrying too much about what's going to happen next, what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, the future, you're really going to start to get overwhelmed. You're not going to be able to focus on the things that are really important. You're not going to be able to get the things done that you need to get done. And you're going to end up falling into the situation where, you're carrying the weight on your shoulders. You've got this burden on you. You're trying to, I don't know if you can tell, but you've got this dragon that is carrying this big pot of gold, and it's weighing the dragon down. The dragon can carry it, but it's difficult. The dragon could really use some help with it. And so if you can just kind of take each thing as it comes, take the help that's offered, ask for help. you're going to find that you move through this time period in a much smoother way. You're going to move through this. You're going to shift. You're going to ascend. Because I feel like if you spend too much time worrying and controlling and fighting things, it's going to be like you're fighting against the current, like you're trying to swim upriver, and that's just not. It's not going to serve you. Now, the card that comes up for the masculine is kind of along a similar type of card, but not quite the same message. The card that comes up for the masculine is Shine. Now, both cards break down to a 1, so it's like a 1 for new beginnings, so it's like a new mindset I feel like you both are having. And with this card, I feel like, you know, this card is the equivalent to the Sun in traditional tarot, which is a card about success and happiness and happy times. You know, making long-term, positive, you know, positive long-term plans. But what I get when I see this card too is that this is kind of a card of surrender, of, you know, accepting that things are the way they are right now and you can't do anything about that. And in a way that reminds me of having to go with the flow. Like you can't change too much what your circumstances are. So, you know, some of them, I mean, I can hear some of you feminine saying right now, well, they could change their circumstances. Yeah, they could. But the time's not right for them to do that right now without creating quite a bit of hardship that they're not ready for. So they're kind of, you know, they're just like, I can't change my circumstances right now, and so I just kind of have to surrender to what is and have faith that everything's going to work out. But so that's what I get here, that they're giving it to the universe. They're surrendering, which is good. But then I'm also reminded that this card is the card, the Sun in traditional tarot. And what comes to me with that is making optimistic plans for the future. And the clarifying card here is the Ten of Earth. And the Ten of Earth is all about a happy family life and financial stability. And I kind of feel like where I feel like the feminine has a tendency to worry about the future with her masculine twin, like, are we going to be together? Are we going to be able to be financially stable? Are we going to have a family? Are we going to have this? Are we going to have that? You know, and this is like, okay, quit worrying about that, because you're going to stress yourself out. You've got other things that you need to focus on. The card from the masculine is saying they're having faith that they can have this at some point with the feminine. And they're surrendering to that. They're having faith that they can have this, and just surrendering to, you know, knowing that down the road they'll have what they want. You know, and so, but I feel like for the feminine, it's like when you don't hear them talking about it and making plans with you for the future, you feel like they don't want it, and that's not the case. They're more focused on right now and getting through what they need to get through right now. And so the next card for the masculine is Move. And, you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, a lot of times I tell you that I feel like this card is, you know, I feel like this is a card of coming into union with yourself. You know, you're healing your heart. It's a 7 for being on the right spiritual path. You know, but this is also, I see this sometimes as a card of moving, you know, coming together, as a card of union. And I do feel that in some cases, you know, I think for a lot of the masculine, this represents coming into balance with themselves, coming into union with themselves. But I do think for some of you, this is going to indicate, you know, I don't want to say a coming together, but at the very least, an expression from your masculine twin of wanting that physical reunion. And the clarifying card here is the Ace of Water. So, you know, new beginnings, falling in love, the resurgence of a relationship. So there's a lot going on with that in terms of a potential coming together. But if it's, you know, for those that it is, you know, coming into balance with themselves, this Ace of Water, you know, it does still, you know, that's a new beginning, a new chapter, but it's also, you know, when you come into balance with yourself and, you know, you have that union with yourself, that's like a whole new level of spirituality and spiritual growth, which is also indicated by this Ace of Water. What I think is really cool is that the card that the feminine has is balance. And so I feel like the feminine and the masculine are really on the same level for this part of the reading. I don't really feel that way with the first card. Like, it's similar, but not quite on the same level as much with these two cards. I feel like with the first two cards, it's a little bit more like a little more yin-yang kind of thing, where this is more like equal, like more like, I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself the right way, but like, you know, if you picture like the yin and the yang, and you've got like the white part and the black part, but in the white part you have the black, and in the black you have the white, you know what I'm talking about? That's like how I see the first two cards kind of balancing each other out. But with these two cards, I see them more balancing each other out like this, if that makes sense. And so with what the masculine and the feminine they're moving into and they're growing, and I feel like this shift with the masculine, with the move card, you know, with the shine, the surrender, and the move, it's really helping the feminine move into balance, you know, balance her feminine and masculine energies, and feel balanced with her masculine twin, which is, you know, that's what we want. And, you know, like before, where we had the qualifying card for shine was the Ten of Earth, for balance for the feminine we have the Ten of Water, which is a very similar type of card. It's just a little more emotional, which is, you know, a content and rewarding family life, and it's about your emotional and material needs being met, which the emotional needs tend to be much more important to the feminine versus the masculine. You know, and the 10 breaking down to new beginnings. And, you know, it's both of these are, you know, emotional, love-based new beginnings. Like, you know, you're just kind of moving to that next step. And I feel like that we do keep seeing that with, for the people that these messages are resonating with, I still see the forward movement in what's happening. You know, and I feel like the coming into balance is helping to restore the faith that this is coming for you, that this is a possibility, this is coming, you know, and you have faith that this is going to happen. So the next cards that come up are kind of interesting, and when I was reading them, I'm like, you know, I couldn't quite figure out what was coming first, like, you know, like a chicken or the egg kind of thing. And I think I'm going to go with the masculine, because I do kind of feel like it starts with the masculine, because the card that comes up here is control. And as we know, you know, the masculine is still, you know, has fear. And when they're feeling a lot of emotion and showing a lot of emotion and show vulnerability, like they do feel, they get fearful, and they want to, you know, kind of control something. You know, they want to, you know, kind of reel it in. They want to control their emotions. They maybe want to refuse to see the truth of what's going on. And the other card that came up here is Opportunity Beckons. And I feel like, you know, this may not be necessarily like some, you know, hit him over the head with a baseball bat, like super obvious sign from the universe that he's on the right path regarding the twin flame journey. But I feel like they're going to recognize something, they're going to see something, have an epiphany maybe, but something that's like an opportunity beckons that they just can't ignore. They know that I don't want to say that they know that they're on a mission, because I don't think all of them are fully awakened enough to understand that, but I think those who are watching this video will understand. But it's like they're gonna get that this is bigger than them. This is bigger than just you and them. And that might kind of freak them out a little bit, and they're gonna be like, whoa, you know, and they're gonna try to figure out how they can control that. But we both know that you really can't. You can't. And the clarifying card that comes in here is the Ace of Earth. So the Ace is, you know, a 1, new beginnings, and you know, this is like an, you know, again indicates an opportunity. You know, it indicates the inflow of abundance. And, you know, I just feel like something is going to be presented to them that, you know, it might just be kind of hard for them to accept. Like almost like they don't want to admit that their twin was right about things. So it's not, I'm feeling that for the most part, it's not going to be like a majorly huge obstacle or anything, but the bottom line is that the masculine is going to be kind of, again, withdrawing, trying to control their heart, control their feelings and emotions, and they'll get over it pretty quickly, because they're gonna see the truth for what it is. It's just gonna be very obvious. And the card that comes up for the feminine here, this is what I thought was really interesting. The card here is teach. And I really feel like whatever this scenario looks like, this is going to be the opportunity for the feminine to teach the masculine a lesson. And I don't say that in a way, you know, like a condescending kind of way, but it's a teachable moment. You know, it's going to be a learning opportunity. But it's also going to be an opportunity for the feminine to be kind and understanding and graceful, because the clarifying card here is the Queen of Earth. And so if you look at this card, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of chaos. And what I'm getting here is that initially the feminine might feel like she wants to maybe lash out or not handle it in the most rational manner, whatever the situation is. But she's going to take a sensible approach, and she's going to be very kind and understanding and graceful, and it's going to be very helpful for them, for both the masculine and the feminine. And I love the energy that they're going to be coming together into. The crowning energy is seek the truth and then well-deserved reward. And what I'm getting from these cards is really, you know, you got the 7 for spiritual path, you've got the 9 for like an end, you know, transitions, end of a cycle. And what I'm really getting is that they've this has been like the completion of a cycle, and now you're going to start, you know, you're ascending to the next level. And how many times have I said that recently in the last month or so, that you're moving to the next level, you're moving up. And I'm saying it because I'm seeing it. You know, and for those of you who are experiencing it, good for you. It's not easy to continuously go through that kind of growth in such a short amount of time. But you know, you're doing it, you're working hard, and it's gonna get you to where you want to be eventually. You know, the more you grow spiritually, the more you're going to come into balance with yourself, the more you're going to be at one with who you are, the more self-love you're going to have, the more ready you will be to be able to come into union with your twin when it's time, when the time's right. And the clarifying cards that I pulled here, I pulled Melchizedek, or Deck, I always mess that up, which is higher learning. But this card I felt like summed up like the ascension process, or the cycle, what the twins go through over and over again so well. You have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. So it's exactly what I've just been saying is, you know, you went through this period of growth, and now you're moving up to the next level, and now you gotta do it again. You know, more work is needed so you can get to the next level. And then I pulled the Page of Earth, and the Page of Earth also indicates, you know, wanting to do something more challenging in a new area of study. So it's along the same lines. The grounding energy that both twins are bringing to this reading is giving and receiving. And I'm really, you know, like, to me, this is balance. You know, when we give and we receive equally, that's balance. And I'm feeling that very much in this reading that both the masculine and feminine are working and coming closer to balance and harmony with each other. And the clarifying card that I pulled here is Kernunos, life force. And you know what I'm getting with this card is, you know, this is a card of like a new phase, of new beginnings. This is a card of you know, one of the things of this card is fertility, which is, you know, new beginnings, a new period of growth. And you know, and like I've already said a couple times here, and especially with, you know, this is a period of ascension, moving to the next level, and that's where you're going. You're going to the next level, so it's a new period of growth. And the other clarifying card I pulled here is the Page of Water, and this card is all about beginning a new phase as well. So there's a lot of very similar, you know, like it's all along the same message here. Now, the underlying energy that the feminine is bringing to the reading is helpless and hopeless. And I can definitely pick up on that, you know, with the going with the flow piece of things and with the Teach card. But I feel like this is more fleeting than anything. It's more of, you know, the ego trying to make her doubt. And the clarifying card here is hope, which is so perfect. And this card is reminding you that love is yours, you know, to remember your worth. And that when you are in this place of having those, you know, when you feel hopeless, to make sure you're choosing loving thoughts instead, you know, because the loving thoughts are going to attract what you want. The grounding energy that the masculine is bringing is the solar plexus chakra. And what I'm really feeling here is that this is about the masculine moving back into his power. There are two cards came out here. I got Lady Nada with Heart Awakening, which is about giving and receiving in balance. So we have that balance message again. And then we got Lord Shiva, which is transcendence. You know, and this card is all about rising up and honoring your inner force. And to me, that's, you know, take your power back, which I see through this reading, that the masculine is moving back to himself, and who he is meant to be. And I pulled an oracle card from Wisdom of the Oracle, and I thought this was really interesting that I pulled this. So I pulled Round and Round. So this card is a 25, which breaks down to a 7, so spiritual path. And I'm going to read the relationship message. Are you wondering, how did I get here again? Does something feel familiar right now in your dynamics with others? Maybe a little too familiar. Don't be surprised that you found yourself repeating an old story with the same sort of person who may not look similar, but who attracted you because of your easy acquaintance with his or her qualities. Your relationship is a mix of what is good and what is potentially challenging. You have been drawn to this person through the perfection of Spirit's plan for your evolution. You may have circled back to an accustomed spot, a familiar place, but that's fine, as you get to do things again, only differently this time, for you learned something of great value since the last time around. How will you choose to behave now that you're aware? Remain curious and stay out of the blame game. And I'm going to read the Oracle's message as well as the essential meanings. So the essential meanings of this card are the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated, cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. And so the Oracle's message, the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. So I think that for everybody who's watching this video, I think that one of those two messages I think you can relate to. And I feel like that this card was really perfect for this particular reading, since I was talking so much about twins and going through the growth cycles, and that it appears like, you know, you're ending one cycle and going to be beginning a new cycle of growth. So I thought that that was really pretty spot on. So that's all I've got for you guys this week for the reading. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be offering $10 3-card readings. So I will put the link in the description of the video. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. That way you will be notified as soon as I upload my videos. And if you're interested in purchasing a reading with me, my website is www.indigowings.healing.com. You can email me at indigowings.healing@gmail.com, and you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/indigowings.healing. I also have a Facebook page, which is Indigo Wings Soul Connections. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.